What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do away with this kind of junk for good. That rust right there on the A-pillar that I said I was going to ignore, I'm no longer ignoring it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something about it. So I showed y'all this right here in the last video. I said, yeah, I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna ignore that. Well, I decided I'd go ahead and do something about it. So I pulled the windshield out and I had some rust hiding up here. So I figured I might as well go ahead and do something about that and that. I spent so much time on the floors and the backside of the car, I might as well fix this. So these pieces right here for the top, I have them ordered. The only place I can find those is Welding, Speed, and Engineering. And their customer service is top notch. So if you need that piece on the top of the windshield, give them a shout. So what I've got here is a scrap piece of one of the floor pieces that I cut some out of and had some left. As you can see, that piece of angle on the end there. I'm going to try to use this angle piece to make me a patch for this. If it don't work, I'll just order this piece, but hopefully I can make this work and save me $100. We'll get to work on that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up and try to see if I can make it work. So what I'm gonna do now is get my Metabo and cut both of those clips out. Start trying to get this piece right where I want it and trimmed up. And yeah, we'll go from there. So let's do that. Now from here, obviously, since this is just a scrap piece, I need to figure out the best way for me to put it in here. I like the height here because it gives me some room to grind that down flush after I cut it out or put it in. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut my corner off on this bottom. That way I can set it down in there a little bit. Give me a mark. Alrighty, so I want to get far enough up below this spot and above this hole here, but not too far down here. So just get it somewhere close. Top. Now this bottom, I'm gonna cut this corner off just to help me see this better. Alrighty. So I got it marked on both ends there on the outside of this piece. So obviously, if I cut on those lines, I'm gonna have a bigger hole than I got steel to go back in it. So what I'm gonna do is cut way on the inside of this, like big time. That way, I can slowly trim this out to make my piece fit. So I'm gonna cut that now.
Recognize the gravity, closer to the summit, stacking chips and counting nuggets. I've been stunting, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets.
So considering that I don't have a very small cutting wheel, when I cut this piece, I'm gonna have to cut into this side and into that side. But I'll just have to come back and tack that in. That's the only option I got here with the limited tools that I have. So bad as I hate to, I gotta just gouge it there.
Earn my respect and burn a budget.
And gouging is exactly what I've done. Wow, how did that happen? It's almost like it Tried to separate. That's terrible. Same thing here.
Took a deal, sign another deal. Post up in the hills on the rail. Headed for a mill, travel with me still. Gang.
Give me a buff and wheel and clean it up. Safety first.
I was trying to lead a meal, getting to it. Before I hopped up off the block, I was still going through it.
So, as you can see, this bottom part is mainly just surface rust. After I weld it all out, obviously I'll clean this section up really good, and I'll put a good coat of paint on it. Got a little bit here. I'll clean that out really good and coat it, and actually put some new seam sealer all right here. So what I'm gonna do now is make this piece fit this gapped up looking hole here. I butchered that. I'll probably clean that up a little. So this will be one of those spots where I have to fill up with some weld, because that's very ugly. But this is the real world right here, guys. So I'm gonna start trimming this piece down and try to get it to fit. This part right here, take your time, because or I gotta take my time, because in this case, this is the only one of these I got. It's the last little scrap piece I had. So I'm gonna slowly start trying to trim it to fit that, and I'll check back in when I get it close. As always, before I start welding right here, I'm gonna hit this with some weld through primer just to help protect it in the future. Hurry up and wait for it to dry now. Luckily this stuff dries pretty quick, so we'll let it dry and then get to welding. So one thing I'm gonna do before I start welding on this is take one of these welding spoons, and where that got stupid, that little bit of hackery right there, before I put my new piece in, I'm gonna go ahead and go in here. See that little bit of hackery right there? So before I put my new piece in, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this welding spoon on this back side and weld that gap up. That way I don't have to fight it. So it's a pretty good investment if you do a lot of hackery. You ought to get you some. So I never claimed to be the smartest here. I got my piece tacked in, and I've been sitting here talking to y'all the whole time, and I never recorded anything. So I got those craters welded up. I might have showed you that, I don't remember. I got this piece tacked in. I have not tacked this side at all. Y'all can probably see that majorly huge gap on that side. As soon as I get enough tacked on this side, I'm gonna take me a hammer and slowly start working this in to get that same angle. This is another one of them jobs where you just got to take your time and be easy here. I don't remember if I told y'all or not, but I'm a beginner at this. I'm never claimed to be good, but I ain't scared to try. I knew this piece was a little long right here, so I wasn't sure how I wanted to handle that. Go ahead and trim this outer edge off right here, and hopefully it'll fit. I feel better about that. So what I've done was got it close with the Metabo and then just come back with that flat disc and got it right down where I wanted it. So it might have been hard to see, but what I've done is got it close right here with that Metabo, and then come back with a flap disc and just smoothed it down flush with my original piece. Yeah, I know, that's a crater, son. Woo, Grand Canyon. But I'll fill that mug in. I might not can weld, but I can't do Bondo work either. So we'll get by. All right, I'm gonna show y'all how I'm filling these craters in. So I started out here. So imagine I had that whole crater going there. I got me one weld started right here. That's the hardest thing to do, is start that first weld. So from there, I started one here, a few different places. So on this line, I had one started down here, had one started right in here, and so forth. It's a lot easier if you already got a weld there to put some weld on top of it, opposed to going right here and filling a gap. Or where that big crater is right there. If I was to just try to weld that straight across, it wouldn't weld as good. So that's how I fill up the huge craters. Put a tack and then build off of that tack, working your way up, opposed to constantly filling the gap. So it's coming along. Still not pretty, but I got a grinder. All right, so I got it welded in. It's not perfect, but it's actually decent. On this outside, obviously it's a little wavy from just welding and grinding and all that stuff. But when I come through with body filler, that'll smooth right up. Won't be no issue. This top part got a little deep on me, but I'm gonna flip it around and show you. So this top part right there, you can see there's a little bit of a gap. It got a little deep. That's just right here. That's gonna be full of windshield glue anyway, so I'm not concerned with that, not one bit. All this turned out pretty good. So, like I said, I'm gonna clean all this up, obviously, seam seal that. I gotta repair the top. So I just wanted to show y'all that you don't have to be a dang body man to do this kind of stuff. Now, granted, I'm not building a $100,000 car to send to dang Barrett Jackson. I'm building something that I'm gonna drive and I'm gonna enjoy, and this will be perfect for me. So before I started on this car, I had zero experience doing this kind of stuff. Now, granted, I've welded and all that stuff for years, but as far as floor work, body work, that kind of stuff, never done it until I started on this car. But things like this was scrap metal that I had. It was gonna cost me over $100 to get this piece, to cut that bit out of there. So you can save a lot of money by doing this kind of stuff yourself. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all tuning into this. And do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and stick around, because we're gonna have a hot rod before long, boys. See y'all.